it's me again. I'm just out for my second day walk on this 90 mile walking challenge. Also, I did say yesterday in the video that I was going to put up a video each day. Not sure if that's really going to happen, but there is one up from yesterday. It was very late getting uploaded because it's a bit of a monster, unfortunately. There's a lot of data and quite a lot to go through. Not that I went through it very hard, but one thing I did notice in the video, which I'm going to address here and now, it is going to be raw and unscripted. There's something I said at the beginning of the video which I think was quite condescending. I didn't mean it to come across like that. Basically, if you're doing one of these challenges, just do it. You're doing a grand job, fantastic job. Okay, and I really didn't come across as that. That's what just came out of my head, really. I didn't mean it to sound rude or anything like that. I'm sure you'll understand anyway. But rather than trying to edit it out, and may see there's a join in the video. Like I said, I want this to be. Let me just check my mic setting here. Yeah, that's better. Hopefully you'll hear me a bit better now. And let's change it again. There we go. Yeah, I didn't want to sort of start chopping the video up too much because obviously I did want this to come across as being right off the cuff. My arm's aching already. Oh dear. And I picked myself up on something else as well, which I said when I saw it in the video. I thought, you king hypocrite. Okay, nobody's perfect, but it really opened my eyes to myself, and I just going to address it here now. Really, basically what I said was that I hate talking about people behind their back. Now, probably lots of us do it. I do it. I do mean what I say. I don't like doing it, but I do it. It's just something, one of my bad points, unfortunately, but I think it's just something maybe I've always had in me. I've noticed that I have done it in the past, but since my incident, I have noticed it's got a lot worse. So with that in mind, and that like picked up in the video, that's one of the things that I'm gonna try and work on. Well, not try and work on, I will work on it, because when something like this happens, you start to realise the importances in life, and it gives you a big wake-up call, really. Sometimes you don't realise actually what's going on until it's pointed out to you. I'm just going to go up this way. Behind me at the moment is the river that I walked past yesterday, or walked alongside yesterday. I was going to go down the other side of it, down to your left, right, I'm not sure, it's that way anyway. Over there. So, but there's trees down both sides of that, which is going to make it a bit too dark, really. It's more or less the same place I'm going. Maybe when the sun comes up a bit more, it won't be so dark down there, or maybe we can go down there a different day. We'll see what happens. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so obviously I'm going to work on that. That's all part of the big depression come PTSD type thing. Yeah, so if anything comes out of this and that's it, then I'll be happy with that, because it's not on, really. And we do see it a lot these days. I'll include myself on that. I was a bit aware of it quite a little while back. We all go on social media. I'll admit this to myself, to anyone. I've done it. In fact, in the past, I've gone through all my feeds on all my Instagram, on my social media things, and I deleted every single comment, even the good ones, because I didn't have time to go through them all, really. So when you see these nasty comments on people's feeds on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, it's not nice to see it, but just bear in mind that they may be doing it because maybe they're suffering themselves, you know. That's what I'm trying to say basically. And my biggest period of being not nasty to people, I wouldn't be nasty to people deliberately, but I was quite what's the word, quite abrupt with people. If I thought I was right about something, I would tell them. Unfortunately, I'm the sort of person that I don't say much unless I think I'm right. Probably most people are like that, but yeah. So, you know, just bear in mind, people, if you are on social media, just that it's a good idea just to think about what you're saying before you post it. 'Cause it's not great. Hiding behind the keyboard it's not brilliant, really, is it? It's one of those things that it's too easy to do, unfortunately. It is getting better. There's lots of people, moderators. I think there's even systems now that pick up bullying and stuff like that. But nowadays, if I get something like that, I just send in a report and just block them straight away. I just don't bite anymore. I used to bite a lot, especially when I was talking about things like speed limits. Now, I bet you can all guess what my view is on that. Obviously, I support them. I do think they're a pain in the backside, but they're there for a reason. But unfortunately, due to most people's attitude, it won't happen to me. I think, actually making the situation more dangerous. There's a lot more cars are tailgating. A lot more cars are overtaking where they shouldn't be. In 20 mile an hour zones I'm talking about now. I had a car the other day overtake me and the car behind me in a 20 mile an hour zone, and he had to be going at least 40 to get past the distance between me and the other car. So, you know, if you're that sort of person, then just think again. Okay, one day it might happen to you. I was 48 when it happened to me. And over all those years, I'll admit, I was never an angel. I've had fast motorbikes and I've ridden them at triple figures on the public roads. Not in any places where we're obviously going to come into any sort of danger, but you all think that you're invincible and it's not going to happen to you. And then all of a sudden it does, and you think, oh God, that shouldn't have happened. But then it happens again. Okay, my circumstances are slightly different, but just take it from someone who knows. It's one of the worst things that will ever happen to you. Right, okay. Sorry about getting a little bit political about speed limits and people, but it is one of the things that really gets to me. That's one of the things you have to deal with this sort of thing. Obviously, lots of people don't know what others are going through, so you know, it might be just innocent comments. But another memorial there. Wow, all over the place. Yeah, so a little bit backlit there again. Let's see if I can adjust the brightness slightly. Yeah, I don't want to go too far because when I brightened you up yesterday, it went too far. Yeah, so yeah, when you get people talking about things like this, it's quite easy to, especially on social media, when they're not sat there right in front of you, to have a pop, unfortunately. So just bear that in mind, that if you are in your state of mind is not great for whatever reason, just try and be sensible about it. And if someone does pop at you, just think that maybe it's because they're suffering as well, you know. Honestly, you think about it, when someone's in a good state of mental health, they're not miserable, they don't snap at people and all that sort of stuff. And so yeah, just bear it in mind, guys, and girls. Sorry, I keep saying guys, but I mean that in a general term. Not sure whether that's politically correct these days, but I don't mean to offend anyone. And yeah, so anyway, I've got to try and keep this video a bit shorter today. One, because I haven't got as much time today. Plus the fact I don't want to bore the pants off everyone. So I'll just try and keep it a bit shorter. But I think I need to go over yesterday's video a little bit more to fully explain. I don't think I fully explained my situation and why I feel like I need to make these videos. It's basically what's happened is I was involved in the first incident in 2019, in November 2019, and like I said, I was pretty devastated by that. So you're going a bit dark. I'm just going to leave the camera as it is for now, just so I can. Oh, there we go. So I can don't have to edit so much later. So yeah. So yeah, the first incident happened. Obviously, I was devastated. Just all going through my mind is what the hell was he thinking to be in that situation. And like most people, probably like me, just don't understand it either. But then, just 10 months later, I found myself in a very similar situation, and it happened again. And that was probably worse than the first situation. Again, I'm not going to go into details of what happened because that's just not fair on anyone involved, really. And that was slightly different. The first time I had quite a bit of time off work, months off work, and the second time I had about 2 days off, and I basically went back to work thinking, well, this is my job, this thing's going to happen, which is obviously a stupid idea really, but it's just how I felt at the time. But then unfortunately the panic attacks started happening. I thought they were there before, but they just got so much more intense after the second one. And morning, alright. Gentleman there walking his dog. Lovely morning for it. But yeah, so train of thought gone there. So yeah, what was this thing? Yeah, the panic attacks got a lot worse. And then it was then I started to understand what people are going through. When you're having thoughts like that, it's not because you're sad. Like I said, your gas bill's not getting paid. It's something that comes from within inside you. I'm no expert on this. It possibly could be a chemical thing, because there are drugs available for it, some of which I'm taking. The one particular type of drug that I'm taking, and I must admit it has helped. But you realise that it's all to do with the fight and flight response, basically. And you really do feel that there is no way out. I mean, a long period of time went through before I got help. Like I said before, I was suffering with mental health issues before, not serious ones. But after the second incident, I then thought, well, it's okay, I can deal with it. The funny thing happened. Well, it wasn't funny, but what happened was I went to the doctors to get that jab that was going around at the time. And I have never ever been afraid of needles, because I've needed to have blood tests and stuff over the years, so I've never ever been afraid of them. I've never been afraid of the nurse that was going to take that was going to give the injection. Get on really well with it. But I was sat in the waiting room and I was just waiting to go in, and for some reason my body just went into a shock, and I just could not deal with the fact that I was going to get this needle jabbed in my arm. And all it was, someone I spoke to the day before just said to me, "Oh, it hurts like hell." But he didn't mean the needle hurts like hell. What he meant was afterwards, when it all swells up and does whatever it does, that's when it hurts like hell. So anyway, yeah, I was in a right state before I went in. I spoke to the nurse and said, "Look, this is what's happened." And then she, luckily, at the same time, got me booked in with the healthcare practitioner, and they gave me an assessment. And this is the guy that I said to, let's go right this way. It's nice and sunny here, actually. Back again in shadow. Let's go on to this side now. I'm squinting in the sun. Sorry about that. So yeah, this is when I said to him I was having these horrible thoughts, and he said, "Well, that's basically human nature." He said, "Everyone gets that. You don't need to worry too much about it," which really surprised me, because I didn't think that was normal at all. And I thought that was a wake-up call. And what happened next was I was given an assessment. I'm not sure if it was that day or not, I can't remember because it was quite a few years ago. I was given an assessment, and they actually assess you properly to see your level of it basically. And just thinking about it is not it, apparently. So there is a bit of good news out there. You don't need to get so sad about it. Like I said, it's all part of human nature. But unfortunately, this is the thing where you are actually getting into the danger zone. That is sort of the fight or flight thing. I've experienced so many different things over the last few years, which has been triggered by all sorts of things, which was started by the two events. And you do get into a situation where you get a panic attack. It's just horrible. And maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going to say it. If anything like that was to happen again, especially if it was my fault, I'm not sure I'd better stop myself doing the same thing. It's not because I'd want to. It's because that's how it affects you. Hopefully it won't ever come to that. Hopefully I'll have the presence of mind to deal with it. But I know on the second incident I was absolutely useless. And other people who are around, there's one woman in particular, she should be given a knighthood basically. In fact, I might even get on to someone about arranging that, because she needs to have some sort of recognition, honestly. Again, I'm not going to say what happened, but she needs to be recognised for that. It's a little bit of pause, folks. Just to get my head straight a minute. That was quite a bit tougher to say than it was yesterday. Things seemed to flow yesterday, but today not so much. Right, let's move on to something else. I'll tell you what I can talk about or lead on from that. Basically, when something like that happens, now there's lots of people that suffer with these thoughts. Now it might not come from PTSD or a traumatic event. It can come from anything really. But what happens, you can go into a state of for quite a long time, and it basically means you're scared or terrified of anything and everything around you. In fact, when it first happened, I couldn't even go into a shopping centre without being scared, and it's 48 years old and being scared of a shopping centre. Something wrong there, really, isn't there? But that's all part of it. And if you're living and feeling like that, then say, well, my arm's aching a bit, let's sit down on this bench for a bit, see if I can I think you can see me there. So sorry, I'm looking down, and I shouldn't really be looking down on you, should you? It's my arm's aching so much. I might have to have a different camera tomorrow. So you got this thing called hypervigilance. Now that over time it just builds and builds. Imagine you're at the top of a hill and you've got this little snowball, and you drop it onto the floor and you push it along, and all of a sudden it gets bigger and a bit bigger, and eventually it gets so big it starts rolling on its own, and by the time it gets to the bottom it's massive. So this is what this sort of hypervigilance thing starts to feel like. It's like a snowball that grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and when it gets to the bottom there's usually a tree or a wall at the bottom, and when it hits it, it just smashes and falls to bits, and that's when you get your panic attack. So you need to learn how to recognise these things, really, and cope with them. I've had panic attacks. I've lost count of how many times I went into work having a panic attack going up to the desk, because you get trigger things. Go into work, go up to the transport desk, get my keys, find out what's going on, and I would no one could tell, but I was panicking inside. My body was just going to jelly, shaking, but on the outside everything was perfectly normal. I've went to work in much worse situations than that. In fact, I went in tears one day. Something had happened, I got triggered, and I actually drove around the estate before I went into work. I was driving around for about half an hour or so, made myself over 20 minutes late. Well, I got to go in at some point, so I just got myself sorted, went into work, and someone saw me, just looked at me and just dragged me into the side room and said, "What's up?" And I just couldn't say. I could not speak. And all I could say was, "Let's get me in the truck, get me on the road, and I'll be fine." And I was then. After that, that was quite a difficult day, actually. One of the most difficult days, this is going to come on sort of hypervigilance type thing, but this is where I found it most difficult. I'll zoom you in a little bit, because I'm a little bit wrong way. Yeah, zoom in a little bit. Yeah, oh god, maybe not. I'm squinting, people. Yeah, just after it happened, the first one, I had to go away for a training course, and I was sat in this classroom, because as a truck driver you have to do some periodic training, which you do. Is it 7? You got to do 7 hours every year, or you got to have a total of 35 hours worth of training. Well, you don't lose your driving license, but you can't drive without this what they call CPC card. And unfortunately, a lot of these courses involve things like accidents and stuff like that. Anyway, this first one, this guy was talking about, I can't remember what the topic was now, but I could tell the way the conversation was going, what he was going to say. And I was thinking, right, get ready, it's fine, I can deal with this. And I could feel myself, my body bubbling up. And then he said the word, and I just went, and I just literally got up out of the chair and I ran out of the room, and all I could do was run. I didn't know this building. I just ran and ran. All I wanted to do was get outside and get away from whatever was bothering me. And that was the very first time I experienced a panic attack. I didn't know what it was at the time, But I eventually managed to find a toilet where it's quiet, there's no one around. I went in there, calmed myself down. For the rest of the day I was up there, like I was high on drugs or whatever. And then ultimately one of my bosses came and spoke to me and said, "Oh, yeah, you okay?" And I said, "Do you know what, that was actually more terrifying than the actual event itself." And you think about that. Think about that. That's why these things happen, because if you've got that much drive in you, you'll do anything to get away, then that's how it's happening. It's not about my gas bill's not getting paid, okay? It's a response from your body, and that's quite tough, and I think that's what we're dealing with, unfortunately. Yeah, it really is. But obviously what triggered me there wasn't any danger in the room, it was what I was hearing. And that's quite important, because I've had far more triggers from things I've heard than what I've seen. Think that because of road closures, and last week there's been a lot of road closures, I still go into the same place each night, but I've always managed to avoid the two areas where they happened. But last week I just couldn't go any other direction. I had to go through both sites which were where they happened. Now, the one site I've been going through for a little while without too much difficulty. The second one, that was the first time since it happened, and I did get a little bit squeamish about it, but it was nowhere near as bad as what it could have been. But that's quite a difficult thing to explain, really. How can I actually go through those areas on the same bit of road and not be so bothered by it, but then someone can say the wrong word and it can send me into a frenzy? So people say that your hearing is your most sensitive thing, and that's true, really. Imagine if you're a deer out in the wild somewhere, you're constantly listening for any danger. So as soon as you detect something, you're probably going to hear it before you're going to see it. So just bear that in mind, that your hearing is more sensitive than you think, and that can actually affect your mental health. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind. Just wondering whether there's anything more I can say today about it, really. I've just noticed I've already done sort of 25 minutes of talking already. Like I said, I want to keep it fairly short, and I think I'm going to call it a day there. I've not walked very far, just been around the rugby field, and I'm going to go and try and get another 3 miles or so in for today, and then I'm not sure if I'll see you in a video tomorrow. I'll try, but I'm back at work tonight, so tomorrow I'll be finishing work and going for a walk. So we'll see how I feel. You never know, that might be one of the best videos I make, coming home from work being tired. Maybe I'll be a bit more, I don't know how it's going to affect me. Just making assumptions there, really. I might not be able to say anything at all. But yeah, anyway, guys and girls, just bear in mind what I said. Don't take everything to heart. I haven't helped that anything I've said hasn't upset you at all. That's not the intention. I'm only doing this just to help people. Like I said, I want to help people, even if it's just one person. Like I said, if you can donate, then well and good, that'd be great. But obviously I know times are hard, but it's not really about the money, it's about the love and the caring for each other, really. That's the most important thing, really, isn't it? Yeah. I will say one thing, that is my heart goes out to anyone that knows someone or even family members that have ended up in this situation. I mean, trying to describe how badly it's affected me, and I didn't know either of these two people one scrap. So yeah, but yeah, go and get help. Go and get help from professionals if you can, but just go on the internet. There's lots of people out there that talk about mental health, like on Instagram and things like that, and you'll suddenly realise that we're all the same. I mean, this thinking about doing it is we're probably all thinking at some point we're having a bad day, you know, like this guy that I spoke to. It's human nature, so it might not be as serious as you think, and we all do have all of the same thoughts. I mean, I was constantly on Instagram reading people's posts, people who suffer from mental health, people who are practicing it, and the advice you can get on there from these little memes is just incredible. And you do realise that we're all the same. None of us are any different. It's just whether we choose to project it or not. It's yeah. Anyway, I'll cut it here and go and enjoy the rest of this sun, and I'll see you at some point during the week. Hopefully it'll be tomorrow. It may only be a really quick one tomorrow, maybe. Be in a different location tomorrow. I've got a bit of a plan where I'm going to walk tomorrow. It's going to be a bit noisy. We'll see how it works out anyway. But yeah, take care all, and we're all in this together, every single one of us. See you guys, girls. Cheers. Hi all. Just after that last piece to camera, I must admit I was feeling a little bit sad and down. Nothing serious. But obviously, you know, talking about this sort of stuff can be a little bit daunting. And I thought I'd just carry on with the rest of the walk and get it done. Tick the box for today. But I come down to this Bolton Lake Incombe quite a lot, and because I'm out this early and it's quiet, the sun's actually killing my eyes at the moment, but anyway, that's beside the point. I saw something I've never seen before, and that's there's fish swimming on the surface of the water. I did film it on my iPhone, unfortunately, because obviously this lens I've got on here is a wide angle lens, so I can talk to you guys. So I've taken a little clip on my iPhone. I'll overlay that in the video, and just to prove that it's if you get out, make the effort, get out, you reap the rewards. And it's cheered me up no end, to be honest with you. It's the simplest thing, but it's worked. Yeah, so there we go. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, definitely worth it. So although having said that, as you can tell, the last 2 days the sun has been really shining. The days that when it perhaps raining or whatever, then might not be so easy. But can't have all sunshine and roses every day, can you? Okay, well, I'll leave it there, and like I said, I don't want to make this video too long, and I'll see you all next time.